question I would like to answer is, why did such controversy and issues arise upon the release of Life of Brian? The controversy stems from the differences in how people view humor in terms of morality. I will be using Chapter 3 of Humor, a very short introduction by Carroll, to analyze these issues. The first theory is comic amoralism, which states that humor is neither moral or immoral, it is above morality. Opponents, such as the Christian Voice and the church protesters, would not subscribe to this theory because they were offended by the film. Thus, they do believe that humor can be evil or moral. If they did not believe this, then they would not have been offended by the film, and perhaps the controversy that arose upon the film's release would not have been as severe as it was. However, proponents, such as Monty Python, Carl Dyke, Philip Davies, and Reverend John Adams, may have found the film humorous because they may subscribe to this theory. Their stance would be that the film should not offend anyone and that Monty Python did not intend to insult anyone, so they may view humor as neither good nor evil. The next theory is comic ethicism, which states that immoral features in jokes are never beneficial, but it may be humorous overall if the joke includes other non-immoral qualities. This theory would not describe the taste and humor of the proponents, since there are some immoral elements within the film, and the proponents view these as humorous, or at the least, they did not find the jokes insulting. Some opponents' reactions to the film may be explained by this theory. They may have viewed the jokes in the film as having too many immoral elements, thus not quite funny and quite offensive. However, it's possible that any immoral element about the Christian faith would be viewed by the opponents as unfunny, despite other non-immoral features within the joke. Therefore, some opponents may not subscribe to this theory, possibly the strictly religious ones, like Christian Voice, for example. These types of groups may be categorized as extreme comic moralism, which states that any degree of immoral elements in the joke makes the joke unfunny, regardless of the other non-immoral elements. This may explain why such dispute occurred over Life of Brian. However, advocates of the film would not endorse this theory because they laughed at the immoral jokes within the film, showing that jokes do not have to be fully moral to be funny. Next, the attitude endorsement theory, which states that if we laugh at an immoral joke, we are endorsing the sexist, racist, homophobic, etc. attitudes that the joke proposes. Opponents may have been so insulted by the movie because they may subscribe to this theory of humor. If that is the case, they viewed the film as an endorsement of the mocking of Christ and his suffering, thus it endorses sacrilege. Proponents would most likely not endorse this theory because they found Life of Brian to be humorous, yet claim they do not endorse blasphemous attitudes to any degree. However, many proponents suggest that the movie itself is not blasphemous at all. Therefore, there is nothing immoral about the film to endorse in the first place. This belief would make it inconclusive as to whether proponents would advocate this attitude endorsement theory or not. Furthermore, Monty Python has claimed that their initial idea was to create a movie directly about Jesus. This would make the film immoral since they would be mocking a prominent religion, but this still does not mean that they would be endorsing blasphemy necessarily, because they may fall under the comic amoralist category, where jokes are above immorality. Thus, jokes wouldn't endorse anything immoral. I would also like to add that merely laughing at a joke that is racist, blasphemous, etc. may not mean we truly believe those stereotypes to be true. Rather, we may just be aware that these stereotypes exist. To conclude attitude endorsement theory in relation to the issues that arose from Life of Brian, it is possible that the opponents to the film viewed the story as an endorsement of blasphemy. Therefore, controversy erupted. The next theory is comic immoralism, which says that immorality enhances the comic effect of jokes. This relates to the incongruity theory because transgressions from moral norms may be humorous. There are two categories of this theory: strong comic immoralism and moderate comic immoralism. Strong comic immoralism is very uncommon because it suggests that moral transgressiveness always makes the joke funnier, which seems too extreme. However, it's possible that particular proponents of the film, like some representatives of Monty Python, may subscribe to this theory. This is because their original plan for the film, as previously mentioned, was to satirize Jesus himself, but they figured there was not much to satirize about him. Therefore, they would have taken the film into a realm of serious immorality, since they would have directly mocked Christianity. Thus, maybe they do subscribe to this theory of strong comic immoralism. It is impossible that the opponents would subscribe to this theory, since the actual film was not even directly about Jesus, and they were highly insulted by it and didn't find it humorous. It is more likely that the proponents enjoyed the film because they subscribed to the moderate comic immoralism theory, which states that immorality within the joke sometimes makes it funnier. This theory seems to fit the proponent, Philip Davies, who describes the film as being both about Jesus and totally not about Jesus. This is because he acknowledges that Jesus may be symbolized in the film, which is immoral, yet he still found it humorous. However, it is probable that strong believers against the film would not fit this theory, because any degree of immorality towards their faith would insult them. Lastly, moderate comic moralism states that sometimes the immoral components of jokes makes the joke unfunny or unfunnier. I suggest that many supporters of the film subscribe to this theory because most of the proponents' views are that the jokes in the film aren't immoral since it's not about Jesus. Therefore, it is likely that Monty Python subscribes to this theory as well as the Reverend John Adams, since he viewed the film as depicting ignorant followers rather than an attack on Jesus itself. It is also possible that the opponents fit this theory as well, yet in this case, the immoral components of the jokes in Life of Brian did make the jokes unfunny in their opinion. To conclude the analysis of the issues that arose from Life of Brian, the controversy that erupted after the film was due to the differences in people's opinions about what is humorous and what is offensive, and the basis of people's opinions stems from their view on morality in relation to humor. Carroll's account of humor and morality has explained the dispute between society's views on this film, why some people had serious problems with Life of Brian, and why others found it funny and enlightening.